Okay, first project, we are going to be using the Positive Thoughts. Now this is a stamp set that's in our Occasions catalog right now. And then the Nature's Thoughts dies is a set of dies that you can purchase right now. It's a celebration coordination product, and it can be ordered right now. And these are everything that the die, there's 11 dies in the set. So of course we have a die for this leafy thing here, leafy sprig, I'm not sure what you call it, the butterfly, the feather, and then the large flower. So we have the leaf, the flower, the butterfly, and the feather. And then we have this fun little rectangular piece that has some really fun detail impressed into it, which I really think is fun. This little border piece here, this feather, look at the detail on that feather. These two little, leafy sprig things, I guess. Little open detailed butterfly. And then we have this little flower piece where these little, it was stuck in my thing, but all those little things pop up and make kind of a 3D flower center, which is really cool. So this is the die set that we're going to use today. Let me get my goods out. And I'm also going to be showing you guys a fun little technique today called, we're going to be making some fuzzy flower centers. And I can't wait to show you that because it's just so cool. Okay, here are some ink pads. We've got Coastal Cabana, Crumb Cake, Pear Pizzazz, and So Saffron. And then I've got some Baker's Twine. And this is the, which one is this? The Nature's Twine. So this is in our big catalog. We've got 4 different colors. We've got Blackberry Bliss, Mint Macaron, Grapefruit Grove, and the Crumb Cake. So we're going to be using that. I've got a 1/2-inch circle punch that we're going to be using. Aqua Painter, and then here are the stamps from the stamp set that I'm going to be using. Okay, so I need some scraps of white. White, where are you, scraps? And we'll just use some of these pieces here. Okay, so, well, the first thing I want to do is I'm going to watercolor this piece here because I want it to dry while I'm doing everything else. So this is that fun little rectangle, and you can see how it cuts that fun, or impresses those little, I don't know what to call it. It's almost like a scalloped edge, but it doesn't cut it all the way off. It just like imprints into it. It's super, super cute. And I'm going to do a watercolor wash. Squeeze my pad together here and get some ink in the lid. Do a watercolor wash with an aqua painter here and my Coastal Cabana ink. So I'm going to squirt some ink, or some water, not ink. I'm squirting a little bit of water into the lid, and then I'm going to bring some of that color down. Just going to get kind of a nice color here. And then I am just going to, I need it a little bit darker. And then I'm just going to brush it all across my paper. I need a little more water. Okay. And I'm getting it towards the edges here. And I'll get it over to those edges too. Down here I need it a little darker. So I'm not a very great watercolorer, but to do a background, I don't think you really need to be. So, okay, so we'll just let that dry. So I'm going to clean this out. I'm just going to squeeze the water out of the aqua painter onto a paper towel until it runs clear, and then my brush is clean. Let's put the lid back on, and then we're just going to set that aside to dry over here. Okay, so I'm done with that. So now I'm going to do a little bit of stamping, and I really think this image here is really cool. In fact, here's some stuff I was working on today. We're like doing a two-tone on there, but anyways, I'm not doing the two-tone on this particular card. So I need one stamped in Crumb Cake, and then I'm like huffing on it. I'm breathing on it to re-moisten the ink. And then so I'm going to get 2 of the Crumb Cake. And then I'm going to get some out of the Pear Pizzazz as well. Clean that off really quick with my old Stampin' Chamois. If you guys don't have a Stampin' Chamois, you seriously need one. It's amazing. Okay, so here is the Pear Pizzazz. So I'm going to do that on Pear Pizzazz. Okay, so we have 2 Crumb Cakes and a Pear Pizzazz. And then I need this flower here. So I need another scrap of white. Oh my. How come when I need a scrap, I can't find one? Here we go. Okay, and we're going to stamp the flower in the So Saffron. And it should fit on here. Yep, it sure did. Okay, and then the last thing I need to do is stamp a sentiment. And I'm going to do that on a little tiny piece of, this is our shimmery white. And I'm not sure if on Facebook, the quality, I'm not sure if you're going to be able to tell that it's shimmery white. But shimmery white matches watercolor paper better than Whisper White. I don't know if you guys can tell the difference. You can tell that the shimmery white's a little more vanilla-y, if that's a word, which I'm sure it's not. But, so it's going to match the watercolor paper just a little bit better because watercolor paper is also not completely white. So there's just a little tip for you. And I'm going to use one of the stamps out of this set. So I'm using this one here. This says Hugs, Prayers, Love. But I only want hugs. So I'm going to take a piece of Scotch tape and mask off the other pieces, the other words. And then I'm just going to ink that up in my crumb cake. Remove the tape is the most important part of this, of masking. And then I am just going to stamp that right down here at the bottom of this scrap. So now I'm going to throw this piece of tape into the trash so that I don't end up touching it and making a mess, because we all know what happens. Barb makes messes. Then I'm going to bring in my all dressed up dies. We used these last week to make the purse. And I'm going to use this little piece here. This is actually the piece that like makes the closure for the bag. So it's that fun little piece there. And I'm going to cut out my sentiment with part of this. Okay. And then of course the other dies I'm going to do. So let's pretend I went to my die cutting machine and voila. Let me empty out my little plastic bag here. Here's all the goods. Well, actually, oh, I forgot I needed a Pear Possess, so I stamped it and then stamped it off. And then here's my full strength. Here's my half strength. Got the crumb cake. Got that. And then I also have a few more little die cuts that come in the set. So I have this cute little detailed butterfly. There's my hugs. And then I got two of these little guys here. Okay. So we have all this, all these goodies. I'm going to close up these ink pads because I'm pretty sure I'm done with them. And of course, if I don't, well, we all know what happens. I make a gigantic mess. So I'm going to clean these up too. Just because sometimes when I throw things back in my little buckets, if I'm not careful and my stamps still have ink on them, I end up, yeah, making a mess. So apparently that's the story of my world, and my name is Barb the Mess Maker. Okay. So I am trying to throw some stuff back into a bin so I have more room to work. All right, here we go. So this isn't quite dry, so I am going to bring in a heat tool and quickly dry this. Normally I would let it air dry, but you know, we don't have 10 more minutes. And a heat tool will work just fine for our purposes. I didn't put that much water on it, so it's not that wet. We should get the whole thing done here. And you will see the paper does kind of roll and buckle, not a big deal. I'll usually shoot the back side of that with the heat tool. And that unrolls it a little bit. And then I will fuss around with it here and get it flat. Okay, so that should be dry. So I'm just going to kind of take it in my hand here and just kind of pull it so that I can flatten it out. So that's pretty flat. Okay, so we are going to decorate this little guy here with some of our fun little pieces. So I thought I would start with my crumb cake. The full strength is going to go there. This little guy here, that's the half strength, I'm going to cut that right up the middle for the most part here. Like that. Okay. So I'm going to put some on that side and some on this side. So I'm just going to add a little bit of glue to the back of this piece. And then let's see, how do I want that? Maybe like so. And then this little guy back here. Just so it appears that we just have a ton of stuff here. Okay, so that's going to go there. And then this piece here, I thought that I would just kind of cut it apart. Let's see, this part here, cut that apart. I think we'll leave this as it is. That, I'm not sure if I'm going to actually use it or not. Okay, so I'm going to add glue to this. And we're going to get that kind of in the center, pointing up towards the top right. Then my flower I'm going to add with a dimensional. Okay, so about like so. And then I thought I could kind of start shoving some of this stuff up underneath, just to add a little bit of greenery, you know, underneath this guy here. How do I want to do that? Actually, that's too long. I think I'm just going to use this little piece here. Kind of have that come out. I thought maybe I would put, where was I going to put these? I think I was going to put that. So go ahead and add a little bit of glue there. I'm just kind of winging it, can you tell? And then these little guys, because they're so cute and delicate, thought we could just kind of tuck them in. So it's just like a little eclectic mix of all kinds of things. Okay, and then, oops, that, I think we can, I knew that was going to happen. I need to trim the bottom of that off because it's too long. There we go. And then we can kind of shove that in there like so. I feel like I need another piece coming out of here. Yeah, let's do both of them. Okay. How's this for super random, right? Okay, and then the butterfly, oh, come here. Add a tiny bit of glue to that little guy, and he can kind of be on and off of our big spray of goods here. And then I thought our little hugs could just go right here on the edge, leaving a little bit of the blue showing, like that maybe. Okay, snip that off. All right, so that's what we have so far. On our main card base, I have went ahead and run this piece. It's a 4 by 5 1/4 inch piece of crumb cake, and I ran it through our pine wood planks folder, embossing folder. What is this? Marlene is telling me for some reason the camera keeps zooming in on the left. Marlene, that might be you, because I don't think that that's happening here. So I'm not sure if there's some glitch in your Facebook, maybe. I don't know. Okay, that is frustrating though. I totally understand. Nancy likes winging it. Yes, sometimes we have to, Nancy. Okay, so then what I have here is I have these strands of crumb cake twine. And I'm going to show you how I did that. So I took the spool here, and I took a little chunk. Well, actually, my chunk is quite long, but for our purposes, since I already have a chunk cut off, we're going to leave it. And all I did was what do you call this? Rolling it backwards, because there's 3 strands here. And so I'm just pulling those 3 strands apart. Okay. So now I have 3 strands that each have 3 strands. Okay. And that's what I ended up with here. And so it looks like it's kind of braided. It's just kind of fun. I feel like, you know, the texture of it is different than its original form. And it's not as thick, which I like. And so we are going to use this fun kind of braided bit. And I'm going to start it right here on the front. And then I'm going to bring it through to the inside of the card. So I'm kind of keeping the strands together. And we're going to pull those through the inside and up to the front again. And then I'm going to attach it here. Now, the reason I'm doing this on the front is because my main piece here is going to cover all this, so you're not going to see any of it. Okay, and then we can snip those off. So that's what we've done. And then you can, if you want, you can kind of spread them out. It just gives a little bit different look to everything, I think. Let's just something different, something fun. Doesn't take a whole lot of time, doesn't cost anything. You probably have baker's twine right there with you. And then we're going to add this to the front. And then stay tuned for the most amazing thing you're going to see all day. I am going to make what I am calling a fuzzy flower center for this flower that we have on the front here. And you're going to love it. Untwist. Yes, thank you, Pam. Geez, I tell you, words are hard for me. I don't know what the deal is. My brain just does not work properly anymore. I don't know if I'm too old. Maybe I'm too young. I don't know. Okay, so there we have the front. And let me kind of scoop some of this stuff out of the way. Now, here are those 3 little strands that I twisted off, unwind, whatever. And we're going to use these and probably some more. So I'm going to separate, like I told you, these things each have 3 strands between them. And so I'm going to separate all 3 of these little strands on all 3 of these strands. So I have 3 strands that have 3 strands, and now I have 9 strands. Okay, there's my 9 strands. All right, so we're going to put those right there. I'm going to bring in the silicone mat just because it's easy to clean up, and if I get glue anywhere, then nobody cares. I need a scrap piece of crumb cake. And this is my 1/2-inch circle punch. And so I'm just going to give myself a 1/2-inch circle. And I guess you could probably do it directly on the flower, but that's just not how I want to do it. So I'm not. And then I'm going to take some liquid glue, and I'm going to, yeah, my glue is getting down to where it's almost gone. I'm going to add glue all over the circle. Okay. And I'm going to drop it onto my silicone mat and hope that it lets go of my finger. Yay. Okay. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in some sharp scissors, and I'm going to have these little strands, and I'm going to have them start to be even, and I am just going to start very, very small bits cutting those off. And you'll see a bunch of them are landing on my circle of glue, which is what I want to happen. A lot of them are not landing on my circle of glue, which is fine because I'll just pick those up and place them on my glue when I am done. And I just kind of want small bits, and then they are going to be piled onto the glue, and then it's going to make a super fuzzy flower, and it's so awesome. Okay, we probably have enough. And so all these little bits that are not on there, we are going to get on there. Ah, so cool. I love it. And then you just kind of press down so that all your bits get on there. Can you guys see how cool that is? And then, so I'm just kind of rolling it around so it's nice and round and fuzzy. And then I'm going to just add some glue to the middle of my flower here and plop on my fuzzy center. There we have it. Is that not the coolest thing you've ever seen? I'm pretty sure it is. And I've got another card that I'm going to make for you a little bit later that uses a fuzzy center also. So that is card number 1. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I thought that was a pretty neat trick. Now, I don't know. I kind of want to think that I invented it. I don't know if I did or not, but I'm going to say that I did because I've never seen it before. So there it is. Fuzzy flower centers, guys. All right, let me clean up this stuff, and then we will get on to our next project. Let's see, do I have anything out here that I don't need? I'm just going to kind of leave the card there so that you can oogle over it while I'm cleaning up the mess. And then I just brush off those excess bits into the trash. Okay. Next project. I've got bits everywhere, so let me kind of brush these into the trash. Oops, I just threw something in the trash I didn't want in the trash. We got it out. We went dumpster diving. Okay, so here's the card. Yay! So thanks for all the love and everything, you guys. I love that. Look at that. How cute that is. It adds a little bit of dimension, but you know what? You can still mail that. It doesn't add like a bunch of bulk, and so it's just really cool. Okay, Fuzzy Flower Center.